You don't have to love Trump. You don't have to be a maggot. We are talking about being an American. These are now our choices. Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Be like, no, I'm really the border hawk, and the open border is Donald Trump's fault, is just not going to sell. Their message on the economy is essentially, the economy is really good. You're just too stupid to realize how good it is.
Bold move, brother.
And also, I think Donald Trump, at least rhetorically, with foreign policy, is much closer to where the American people are right now, which is after 20 plus years of terror wars, every last one of them an absolute disaster. The funding the war in Ukraine, everything they said was going to happen has not happened. And I think that the kind of non-interventionist America first, again, at least rhetorically, there's a lot of things Trump did on foreign policy that I don't support. But I think he's certainly much closer to where the American people are than Joe Biden on all of the biggest issues.
I mean, is that not a perfect argument? That you don't have to love Trump. You don't have to be a maggot. We are talking about being an American. These are now our choices. Joe Biden and Donald Trump. There is no metric. There is no metric on which Joe Biden is better than Donald Trump except the tweets. And if you're going to tell me that this is the most important thing to running America, then now I just know that your opinion is irrelevant. This is how 5-year-olds think.
But I think he's certainly much closer to where the American people are than Joe Biden on all of the biggest issues.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how you could disagree with that.
Destiny.
And that's the and by the way, I would just add that is what is appealing to Trump supporters, and I'm not a Trump supporter.
I am.
Right. That is what is appealing to Trump supporters. The fact that he will do America better. He will do being the president better. That's it. You can try to rationalize any other which way and look at all of the things wrong with him. And there are many things wrong with Donald Trump. But if you don't want him to be the president, then support somebody other than Joe fucking Biden.
By the way, I would just add that is what is appealing to Trump supporters, and I'm not a Trump supporter, but that's what's appealing to Donald Trump supporters, not the fact that he sends mean tweets. And you can talk to any Trump supporter.
What's really fascinating to me are two recent polls, Destiny, which I think should send a shiver down the spine of all Democrats, which is a poll from March the 3rd. Donald Trump's support among black voters has grown by 500% in the last 4 years, according to the New York Times. His support among black voters is now 23%, marking a 19% increase.
A 19% increase among black voters. At what point do you look at these numbers? You're the numbers guy. What does the science say? At what point do you look at these numbers and stop saying, oh, all of these people are so dumb because they're voting against their interests, and stop and think, maybe there's something that these people see that I don't get.
There must be something.
Maybe, just maybe, there's something valid here. But no. There's just this arrogance that we know what's right, and if you disagree, you're dumb and bad. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think, as he's saying, a lot more people are desensitized to the orange man bad narrative, and when you break it down, it's really pretty simple. I don't see any way that as Dave said, if everything goes as it should, I don't see any way that Trump could lose.
His support among black voters is now 23%, marking a 19% increase since October 2020. And a poll from the Arab American Institute from the end of 2023 showed support among Arab American voters for Biden has plummeted by nearly 60%.
So one of the first big things after the Mexicans are rapists,
banning all Muslims from coming here is counterproductive.
The Muslim ban. Oh my God. That was one of the first big things. And I myself, this was still at a time when I was a never Trumper. Like, well, he's doing a Muslim ban. And I mean, the atheism was kind of like, well, I mean, I don't hate it, but I still thought that, you know, he was as him not being an atheist and coming from that perspective, I was willing to play along in the sense that, well, I don't think we want that. Because even though I have my reasons that I could say, okay, Islam makes me not comfortable for these reasons, I don't think that's what Trump's doing. So, but it was. They are fanatical people who believe in crazy things. And if they follow their faith, they are murderous and want to kill you. Now, we have an overwhelming plurality of moderate Muslims who are not really good at their faith and therefore are good people. But the ideology of Islam is bad. Allahu Akbar! Full stop. Christianity has some shit. Some shit. I could go off all day about the bullshit in Christianity, about the bullshit in the Bible. But the Quran,
Come on, man.
the whole thing is haram.
Haram.
Support among Arab American voters for Biden has plummeted by nearly 60% in 2020 to 17% today. I mean, those two things are quite extraordinary when his main opponent is somebody that the Democrats love to demonize, quite literally. You use that word yourself, but they demonize him constantly as the worst racist in America. Why is it that those two things are happening?
Well, let me give you my answer that I know everything about everything. And all of those people are wrong. And all of the people who've changed their minds, who were agreeing with me before, but somehow changed their mind, are bad.
Hey, that's a good impression.
That's what this is going to break down to. Let's see.
America. Why is it that those two things are happening?
Well, for people voting from the Middle East or of Arab descent or whatever, right now they're probably going to be heavily influenced by stuff going on in Israel, Palestine, obviously. But I think that Americans' memory when it comes to foreign policy tends to be pretty short. So we'll have to see where Israel, Palestine is at in 6 months to see how much that's on the forefront of people's minds. But again, for any person that's not supporting Biden because they think he's being too harsh on Gaza, it's not like Trump would be any better. Again, Trump is a
Okay. You're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. The question was, why, if he's so racist and so xenophobic, why then are all of these people in these groups who would be targeted by that racism now voting for the person who's so horrible and apparently hates them?
That's a great question.
Well, people have a short memory. It's all about Gaza. They don't understand. They think that Trump would be better. Why would you think that Trump would be more? So he must be saying, let's back this up.
Much that's on we'll have to see where Israel, Palestine is at in 6 months to see how much that's on the forefront of people's minds. But again, for any person that's not supporting Biden because they think he's being too harsh on Gaza.
So being too harsh. So we're now talking about the Elon Omar type people, the people in Dearborn, Michigan, the people who were on October 8th, were in that stadium waving Palestinian flags. Destiny thinks that those people are under the impression that Trump is going to be like, yeah, Hamas, because Biden is pro-Israel. That's what Destiny just said. Did I get it wrong?
Americans are going to be heavily influenced.
Let's get the whole thing.
Those two things are happening.
So again, the fact that Black people and Arabs are the support has gone up by an incredible amount. That is what he's asking about.
Well, for people voting from the Middle East or of Arab descent or whatever, right now they're probably going to be heavily influenced by stuff going on in Israel, Palestine, obviously.
So what do you mean? What do you mean? That they don't like that Biden is pro-Israel, and they think that Trump is going to be less pro-Israel, which is stupid. There is no reason to think that.
But I think that Americans' memory when it comes to foreign policy tends to be pretty short. So
I mean, M169 agrees there, but he's totally just discounting people's ability to contrast and compare the last 4 years.
Bingo.
Like, what are you saying, dude?
obviously, but I think that Americans' memory when it comes to foreign policy tends to be pretty short. So we'll have to see where Israel Palestine is at in 6 months.
So he's saying if they're the Dearborn, Michigan type people, if they're not still hearing about Israel and Palestine and Gaza and Hamas in the news, then they're not going to be thinking, well, I don't like Biden because he's too cozy with Israel. So therefore, I'm going to vote for Trump because Trump has said anything that would make it seem like he's less pro-Israel?
That sounds made up.
I don't get it. I don't. What are you using to come to this conclusion? He said, "Isn't the Quran mostly stories and the Quran mostly stories and allegories and not direct commandments?" No. I mean, yes. It's. I mean, kind of. Yeah. It's essentially the same. So you have the same buildup of Judaism and Christianity, but the main difference is that within these stories, within these allegories, because of the fact that it's not, as the Bible says, man writing a book that's divinely inspired by God, but that it was Muhammad actually writing down the inherent word of God. Therefore, there's no room for interpretation. There's no room for maybe he meant this. Maybe no. This is God's actual word. Then that's why being a moderate Muslim doesn't make any fucking sense, because either you believe that Allah said you should be beheaded for being raped, or you don't. So being a moderate Muslim is a stupid thing, but I'd rather be a moderate Muslim than a fundamentalist Muslim. So we'll leave well enough alone. Monsignor said people do have short memories. We got that one. Mike said, I've noticed Destiny doesn't have a sense of humor. I've never really seen him make a joke or crack up. That's not true. He's very, this is not the type of format where you're going to learn somebody's personality. And the stuff that we cover is more where he's, debating and stuff. So, I mean, that's just because of the representative heuristic of what I show you. So he said, Israel is sussing up as it is, but Palestine will always be led by terrorists. There's no gray in the Middle East. It's dark and darker. Yikes.
Pretty short. So we'll have to see where Israel Palestine is at in 6 months to see how much that's on the forefront of people's minds. But again, for any person that's not supporting Biden because they think he's being too harsh on Gaza, it's not like Trump would be any better. Again, Trump.
Right. Again, like who said, and I might be ignorant to this. Maybe there's people who are like, we need to get Trump in office because he's going to be pro-Hamas.
That's not a thing.
I think you're just making shit up.
Trump is a staunchly pro-Israel supporter.
Yeah.
Trump was the one who recognized the moving of that embassy.
The
idea that...
So why do you think that just because people are Arab, that they don't know this?
The idea that Donald Trump is going to try to rein in the leash on Israel more than Biden has is ridiculous.
Again,
that was
whoa. That was the perfect example of a straw man. So he erected this idea that Arabs think that Trump is going to be more hawkish on Israel than Biden, which is a stupid point, so it's very easily knocked down. Hence the name straw man. That is what you saw in real time. I'm going to make up what people think. Arabs think that Trump is going to be more hawkish on Israel than Biden, even though he then says that Trump has shown to be very pro-Israel. So these Arabs must be stupid, right? In your mind, They're stupid.
As for minority votes for Trump, again, it's hard to say. Everything is so up in the air. You know, there were just some polls that came out recently that show that there was almost like a 10-point swing in how people are viewing Biden's senility just after the State of the Union, where Democrats and independent voters now have a much more favorable view of Biden after the State of the Union in regards to his senility. And I also saw that the AP posted something today showing that a majority of American voters think that both Biden and Trump are too old and senile to be in office. So,
okay. So first of all, do you really believe that the general public actually doesn't think that Biden is mentally impaired? Do you really think that?
Of course not.
Or do you think maybe these news outlets that do these surveys, number one, will word it in such a way to get the response that they want and want to get a response that's favorable to Democrats? No, everybody's just above board. Everybody's just. That's what I mean, guys. It's the line of conspiracy. If you're willing to believe that magazines, newspapers, politicians, judges, prosecutors, all these people are doing everything on the up and up, then it makes sense why you would think, 91 indictments. Oh my God. But aren't you also the abolish the police because the law is so unfair and locking people up for things that, like, you can't think these things at the same time and also be a logical, rational person. You could be one or the other. You can definitely think a bunch of stupid shit, as people have demonstrated way more than we would prefer. But you can't expect people to take you as a serious person.
Majority of American voters think that both Biden and Trump are too old and senile to be in office. So.
And then on that point, it just, okay, great. Yeah, we agree. They're both too fucking old. I wanted it big. But, because of the fact that the Democrats were so fucking horrible, when we had some cultural movement with Trump, everybody was like, Trump is the only way. And so here we are with Trump and Biden. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.